Now we're going to talk about the group command. It's very similar to blocks. It takes a group of items like these. Again, these are chairs. Every piece of them is an individual line or arc that makes up these chairs. So obviously we have a lot of different line segments and arcs and things in here. So I'd like to take all these and put them together as one unit. That's what blocks do. But groups also does that. Groups, a little more user friendly. They have their own purposes, and I'll show you a little bit about that here in just a second. On the home tab, you have the groups panel right here. What this does is it gives you the main command, which is group, create a group. We can ungroup once we've grouped them together. We can edit them. We can turn selection on and off, which we'll see that in a minute. It just defines how we can move things around and select things. Here we have a group manager, which allows us to see different things about the groups we've created, and a bounding box, which we'll talk about. So for now, we're just going to hit the group button to create a group. You can see it says select objects, but if you notice down here on the command line, you have a name and a description option, and of course the little drop down arrow next to my prompt says select objects, or right by my cursor has a little drop down arrow, so I can hit my down arrow and my options will come up here as well. So I can do that, or I can come down here and choose them on the command line. But if I want to give it a name, now is a good time to do it. So I would either choose it from the command line or hit my down arrow on my keyboard and choose name from here. So enter the group name. Now the difference with this command and blocks is that I cannot hit the space bar. If I hit the space bar, it acts as the enter key. So if I want to type table and chairs, it has to be table and chairs all run together, or it has to be table underscore and underscore chairs. Cannot hit the space bar because that'll end this part of the command. So I've entered my group name, so I'd hit enter or space bar, right click. Now it's just back to select objects, or I could hit description and enter a description, which I don't want to do right now. So I'm just going to select my objects. Once I select them, I hit enter or right click, and it has created my group. Now if I select any of these objects, you can see they're grouped together. I have one grip to move them by, and they're all attached. And you can see very faintly a rectangle around it. That's my grouping. That's identifying where is my group box, my group selection. And that's all there is to creating the group. Up here I can ungroup, which is real simple. You just select the button, select the group, and it ungroups it. Now they're back to all their individual pieces. So I'm going to undo that because I want my group back so we can go through the other options, of course. Below it we have group edit. I can add or remove objects from the group. So if I select that, I'll select the group that I want to modify and tell it, do I want to add, remove, or rename it. I want to remove an object. So what I'm going to do is click remove objects. And I'm just going to select one chair. And select the whole chair, all the pieces of the chair, so this whole object. And then right click or hit enter. And now it is out of the group. I've kicked it out. It's its own entity. Everything else is left in the group. So it's just that simple with the group edit. Here I have a group selection on and off. What this does allows me, if it's on, which it is now, it's blue, so that means it's on. If I select the group, I have one grip, and I can move the whole group just with that one grip. If I turn the group selection off by clicking the button, now everything can be selected individually. It's still part of the group, but it's individually selected. So now I can, while the selection is off, I can take this and move this chair. I can take the end chairs if I want to be a little artistic a little bit, I guess, and rotate them, make them a little bit more interesting. And then when I'm done editing, come back up here, select my group selection button again, turn it back on, and now I'm back to my group. I have one grip, move the whole thing, but I was able to edit it in place right there very easily. So that's a nice feature. And then under groups, I have a group manager. So if I select that, it brings up a dialog box, tells me what groups I have, allows me to put in a description. I can rename it, I can remove things from it, I can add to it, I can reorder it, I can explode it, make it selectable or not. There's a lot of different things I can do inside of here. group bounding box, all that does is basically the same thing as the group selection. If I select the group and then come and turn off the bounding box, it just allows me to again select everything individually, but it's just for that moment. Okay, if I go back, I can't do that. So really the best thing to do is leave the group bounding box on, so it'll always be in effect. And if you want to edit something, come up here, turn off the group selection, and then edit things individually from this point. And then when you're finished, come back and turn the group selection on. And that's a quick rundown of groups and how they work.